block, delete, not interested, don't show me this, I don't want to see it. And that is low-key part of lowering your gaze. Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this week's video. New background, as you can see. Yesterday was moving day, alhamdulillah. And I've moved into a new building. And now we've got green instead of orange, which I'm actually very happy about because my old place was orange and my YouTube channel was beginning to look very orange. So now we've got green and white, which I'm happy about. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about this topic that I've seen going around on social media this week and the previous week, which is the hijab. And before we get into that, I do want to say that I've always avoided to talk about the hijab simply because I still feel like I'm not where I want to be with the hijab. Not in terms of, me wearing the headscarf or anything like that, but there are clear guidelines in the Quran as to how we should wear the hijab, which is, covering your full body. And when I read the ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to cover our aura, I think about clothing like jilbabs. I think about clothing like khimars, abayas, and I'm not there yet. I haven't become a full abaya girl, for example. When I think of me being in a place where I would say, I can now advise people to wear the hijab, I think of me only wearing the jilbab. I think of me only wearing things like the abaya, but that does not take away from the fact that I still wear this. I still cover myself. That doesn't take away from the fact that I'm still trying. That doesn't take away from the fact that this hijab that I wear also encompasses things like a haya, things like the way that I walk, the way that I talk to people. It doesn't take away from the fact that I'm still gonna lower my gaze, and it also does not take away from the fact that I want to get to a place one day where anywhere that I'm going, I'm wearing the jilbab. But for now, because I'm still in this phase where, my clothes are indeed loose, I try to wear loose clothing, but I'm not wearing the hijab that has been described in the Quran. I don't think I can talk about it. But what I can do is tell you my journey. I can tell you how it's been for me and the things that I have done the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has helped me do, that inshallah I have asked him, I've spoken to him and I said, Ya Allah, please don't allow me to remove my hijab, because the topic that's been going around TikTok is, sisters removing their hijab. And we're not really here to talk about those sisters that have decided to remove their hijabs, but what I can do is tell you things that you can do to ensure that you don't fall into that trap. Even if you still have parts of the hijab that are missing, you still have this. You still have the covering. And the reason why I think I should definitely speak on this is because I wasn't a hijabi before. I haven't been a hijabi my whole life. So the struggles of the sister who began wearing the hijab once she was already an adult or a teenager, compared to the struggles of the sister who's been wearing the hijab since she was a child, are completely different, especially in today's day and age. And I fall into that category of putting on my hijab a few years ago. And for you to be able to wear the hijab in today's day and age, where you decided for yourself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided you to wear the hijab, and you said, you know what, I'm going to do it. With all the beauty standards that's going around in this dunya today, with everything that's going on social media, it becomes a lot easier. And I'm here to tell you that the number one reason why it's so difficult for you, the number one reason why some days you contemplate removing the hijab, social media. Social media is what's making it a lot harder for you, because it's what I seen for me in the beginning of my process of putting on the hijab. I remember it was very abrupt. I just said, I'm going to do it. I put it on. And for the first month, I was fine because I was off socials until I came back on social media. And I blame social media because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to lower our gaze for a reason. And whenever we hear lower our gaze, we think straight away of the opposite gender. Like when you see a man, lower your gaze, or when you see a woman, lower your gaze. But lowering your gaze also includes things like, if there is something that you know will bring out feelings out of you that will lead you or give you ideas to do something that is not pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should also lower our gaze. Which is why I'm saying social media, also lower your gaze. Because, for example, being on TikTok, you're scrolling on the app and I don't want this to come across as if I'm talking about these sisters, but you're scrolling on social media and then somebody comes up on your For You page, right? Like another hijabi, and she's got her face beat of makeup. She's not observing the Quran. She's not observing the hijab properly. And now you're looking at her and you're thinking, mashallah, she's so pretty. She looks so good. I wish I could look like that. Shaitan has already started whispering things, putting ideas in your head, because this is what he does. Shaitan will never, he works our brain. He works us into steps. He'll never just push you one time for you to get up and remove your hijab. You will not get up just one random day and remove your hijab. That's not the case. It's a step by step. Okay, it's a step-by-step thing. He shows you that one sister without the hijab, whispers in your ear, and you're like, oh wow, I miss the days when I was in the hijabi. I miss being able to wear makeup online. I miss being able to post myself dolled up with makeup online. Step 1. Step 2, another day, another girl comes up on your For You page and you see her with, mashallah, her luscious hair. She looks great. And once again, he comes back and he tells you, this could be you. This could be you. Are you not missing out? And you're looking at that sister. He's already put another idea in your head. Another day again, same thing happens to you. You keep viewing these things. You keep seeing these people living life in a way that you know that you shouldn't. Shaitan is beautifying their life for you. And you're thinking that you're missing out. That's what he does. He'll make you feel like you are missing out. He'll make you feel like you have time. You're still young. You've got time. You don't have to wear your hijab now. You can do it later. And then he'll even go as far as to whisper in your ear. May Allah protect us from shaitan, because the way he works, he'll even go as far as to whisper in your ear, because he knows the truth. He knows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there. He knows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful. But his goal is to make you think that he's not the most merciful. His goal is to trap you. If shaitan cannot get you to stop praying, he'll get you to not pray your 5 daily salah, but get up for the pray tahajjud. That's not right. So in this case, what he'll do is he'll come and tell you, it's fine. You're young. You can take off the hijab now. And then you can come back and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, because he's the most merciful. Which is correct. You can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness sincerely and Allah will forgive you. But the sincerity part goes out the window when you're planning to do this deliberately with the intention of then later on asking Allah to forgive you for it. That is a huge, huge gamble, because how do you know that you're going to make it that day that you're planning on putting the hijab back on your head? How do we know that you're going to be there? How do you know that by the time you think you are ready to wear this hijab, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will even want it from you? Because the most beautiful part about this, the most beautiful part of us covering ourselves, is the difficulty that comes with it. Wallahi, I believe that the most beautiful part of it is the struggles that come with it. It's when you are struggling to wear the hijab, but you still decide to wear it nevertheless, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said for you to do it. And that's also when you get the most rewards. That's when, you show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he is your priority, that you only want his pleasure. When you think about it, let's say between us humans, right? There is something that you've asked me to do for you, and this thing is so difficult for me to do, but I still go out of my way to do it for you. There is a chance there, 100%, there may be a chance there that the person will not be grateful to you for doing that. There is a chance, because we know there's ungrateful people out there. You will do something for somebody and maybe they will not tell you thank you. But when you do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, number one, you don't even need that thank you. But best believe, I do something that I desire. Well, my heart desires to do the opposite so badly. Like, I don't want to wear this hijab. I don't want to do this thing that Allah has told me to do. But I fight my nafs and I still do it. You think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not reward you for that? This one is a guaranteed. 100% you will be rewarded for it. Compared to the human being that you did something for. And maybe they'll be like, may Allah reward you. Or they'll tell you thank you. Or there's a chance that they may even not see the struggle. They will not understand how hard it was for you to do that thing for them. But Allah knows. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, because He's there with us. He's closer to us than our jugular vein, like they say. Every step of the way, he knew that time when I was in that bed, putting my my cover on me, taking it off, put it on, taking it off to get up to pray Fajr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala counted that. He probably counted the amount of times that I put it on and took it off, and then when I got up, He still counted that, and He still will reward me. And that is the absolute same with the hijab. I'm saying that you are allowed to struggle. You are allowed to, maybe not enjoy doing what you're doing. But the thing is, the most important part is for you not to take it off. The most important part is for you to remember that this, apart from being a commandment, wallahi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would never tell us to do something that would harm us. He would never put us in a position where you will end up being harmed. And the hijab, not only is it, a protection, it's also an honor, you guys. As women, we are so valued in this deen. We are so protected in this deen. We have a whole surah in the Quran titled The Women, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us so many of our rights, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us our value, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored us, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has basically said, this is my right. And if you don't give me my right, you will be held accountable for it. There is no way that we would, for example, read Surah An-Nisa, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guided you to read Surah An-Nisa, or any other verses where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions us, and you wouldn't feel that, I'm protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm valued in this deen. I'm important in this deen. And how many of us are there in this dunya? Thousands and thousands. And can you imagine every single one of us? We have these rights. We have the same rights. We have the same values. We have this, we've all been honored with this hijab. So now me knowing that this is an honor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because why would I want the opposite? This is what I'm telling you right now is the dialogue that I had to have with myself later on, in the beginning of me putting on my hijab, me realizing that wallahi, there's nothing better than me wearing my hijab properly. There's nothing better than me doing this. Showing my hair is not going to benefit me in the akhirah. Dressing the way that's not pleasing to Allah will 100% not benefit me in the akhirah. And may Allah make it easy for all of us, including myself. What do they call it? The pretty privilege. Hijab privilege is a real thing. And the hijab privilege, forget the standards of the dunya. The hijab privilege even comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can you imagine? Hijab privilege comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then people will also treat you differently because you're a hijabi. And I'm not talking about the Islamophobic people. Obviously, that's all parts of the test. That's all parts of doing what is right by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I'm talking about the other side, the positive side of it. And actually, let me not even say the positive side, because we all know that the affairs of the believer is good regardless. So even that one disgraced person that treats you differently because you're Muslim and you're visibly Muslim, you're a visibly Muslim woman because of the hijab, they can identify you and say, yeah, this is a Muslim woman. Or the disgraced person that comes and removes your hijab, even though it's painful, even though it would hurt you. And guys, I do know that it's easier said than done. Even that, when you think about it, being put in a position like that, may Allah protect us. May Allah not allow that to happen to us, simply because, it would shake you up. But if it does happen, number one, it's because it was meant to happen. Because whatever happens to you was written, it was meant to happen to you. But if it happens, best believe that you will also be rewarded for it. There is no way, there is absolutely no way that you would be maltreated for wearing the hijab for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and something happens to you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not reward you for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's things like this that makes it a lot easier, which is why we are told that, remind, because the reminder is beneficial to us. The reminder makes things so much easier. Wallahi, it really does. If you're in a position where you think that something bad has happened to you and you remind yourself that you will be rewarded for it, I don't know about you, but to me, it makes things easier. It really does calm me down. It makes things, it's unfortunate that it's happened, but alhamdulillah nevertheless, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give me my justice, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but I've had phases in my life where wallahi I've contemplated removing my hijab. I've had those phases where I've thought about going back to being a non-hijabi. And what took me out, what removed those thoughts completely from my head, was to remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me my value, He's given me my worth, and He's honored me in this, because this is a protection upon me. There is so many benefits. I mean, apart from, if only, Allah's commandments, if only we were humans that would think, Allah said, we have to do this, so we will do it. But that's not how it is though. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew that. He knew that we are weak. He knows that we are weak. He created us weak. He knows how our hearts are. There's so many benefits to, apart from it being a commandment, but that's not how it works. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew that. He knew that us as humans, we are weak. He knew that we're going to falter. He knows that we're going to make mistakes. And He knew that it wasn't going to come easy for everybody. So many commandments from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so many of us struggle with them, when it should have been a thing of, Allah said do this, so I have to do it. I have no choice. I have no option. I'm going to do it because He said it's a commandment. That should have been a reason enough for us to do the things that we've been asked to do, but it's not. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not hold me accountable for not finding it easy. He will not hold me accountable for not enjoying to do every single thing that he has told me to do. Obviously, it's always better for you to fall in love with the hijab. It's always better for you to fall in love with the salah 100%, it's the goal. That's what we all want for ourselves. We want to fall in love completely with this thing, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to struggle. And I'm going to keep saying that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not hold you accountable for finding something difficult but still doing it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not hold you accountable for finding something difficult but still choosing to do it, for as long as you do it. You know what I mean? And with that being said, this is my advice to you. This is what has made it easy for me. Obviously, you pray, you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for you. You make dua. That's 100% number one thing that made it a lot easier for me. But number two is also being responsible. Is also looking after yourself. And looking after yourself also encompasses things like you tailoring your For You page. Or if you need to take a break from social media, if you need to delete your social media for a while until you feel strong enough in yourself, until you have this connection with the hijab where, you feel like, may Allah protect me from ever removing my hijab, do that. If you need to delete your social media, do that. But if you don't want to delete your social media, then tailor it to the type of things that you want to see on your For You page. And me, I'm going to block. If I have to block, I'm going to block. If I see something on my For You page that brought feelings into me, that made me feel like, oh, I missed that, or I wish I could go back to that, block, delete, not interested, don't show me this, I don't want to see it. And that is low-key part of lowering your gaze. It's low-key part of me looking after my mental health. It's low-key part of me protecting myself. Do it. Do what you have to do to protect yourself. Because when you think about it, you see social media, You know, I hear people, we hear this all the time, social media is not real, but it's true. Social media is not real. Because me wearing my hijab outside, you wearing your hijab outside is a lot easier than you being a hijabi online. And I'm not saying be a hijabi online. I'm not condoning that. If you're gonna be a hijabi online, then my advice will always be to come as without committing tabarruj, right? If you can do that for yourself, then do that. But make it easier for yourself and tailor your For You page, tailor your feed to the type of things that are going to motivate you to do better compared to watching things that are going to bring feelings out of you. They're going to make things so much harder for you guys. It's even things like pictures online. I mean, sorry, not pictures online, pictures on your phone that you used to have before you were a hijabi. Once again, and you may think this is extreme, but it really helped me. It truly helped me. Those pictures that you have on your phone when you wasn't a hijabi, right? Not dressed appropriately. If you go back to look at those pictures and you miss that you, if I look at my pictures and I miss that Aisha, delete them. Delete them. If you have to delete them, delete them. That's what I did. I deleted everything. Anything that will remind me of that me, I'm gonna delete it. But if you feel like you're in a position where that doesn't even affect you, you don't feel like you'll ever remove your hijab, you don't feel like you don't struggle with it, then if you want to keep your pictures, you can do that too. But for me, because I knew whenever I went back and looked at those pictures, I felt some type of way, I deleted them. You do that as well. You make things easier for you. And then deep it, not only will you make your life easier by putting things like this into place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also reward you. I bet you that if you look at your old pictures, if you see videos on your For You page of sisters with makeup, not wearing the hijab properly, and anything that can influence you into not wearing your hijab, and you tailor it, you delete, you block, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also reward you for that. Can you see? You will be rewarded for deleting those pictures. No matter how small you think that act is, simply because you know that this is an influence, it can influence you, you will be rewarded for it. And on top of being rewarded for it, it will become a lot easier for you. And one last thing before I go, I just want to say, ignorance scares people. Ignorance scares people? Yeah, ignorance causes fear. You see, when people find us strange for wearing the hijab, when they find us weird and oppressed, it's because they don't know. You wish. It's because you don't know. You've not tasted it. And low key, alongside the ignorance that they have going on because they've not experienced the sweetness of this, of you not having access to my body, of you not having access to my beauty apart from my husband and my mahrams, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the chance, they would take it. They would 100% take it. And not just would they take it, they admire us, because people don't like different. And when you are confident in your difference, they admire you. But that doesn't mean they'll treat you good just because they admire you, being admired also sometimes comes with a hate. They'll dislike us because, we're different. Basically what they're saying is, how dare you be different? How dare you do this? How dare you? Guys, back in 2000 and, was it 21? Yeah, 2021. On my Instagram account, I had an Instagram account, right? When I was a non-hijabi. Can you guys believe that once I deleted all my pictures as a non-hijabi, and now people could see that this girl is a hijabi, can you believe the amount of men that unfollowed me? I went from having 3,000 followers, by Allah, 3,000 followers on my Instagram, to now I have 1,000 and something people. Majority of them, and this is not to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that I'm not sharing my sins, but if this can help anybody, if it's beneficial, I'm going to put it out there. The amount of people that unfollowed me because they didn't like this new me. They didn't like that they didn't have access to me in the way that they used to do anymore. And what that said to me is, you was here for the wrong reasons. And now that I've put boundaries in place, now that you no longer have access to me like that, you've removed yourself. Alhamdulillah, I'm not complaining. You removed yourself. And this is to also say, when I said that, not when I said, but Allah subhanahu, this is a protection. Being a hijabi and everything that encompasses the hijab, because the hijab is not only for the women, it's for the men as well. Everything that encompasses, that comes into the hijab, it protects us. Wallahi, it really does protect us. It looks after us.